My wife declared, "You'll never prove I was unfaithful. I'll claim the house, the children, and all our assets." I remained composed, then mailed her a package. Now her attorney is desperately contacting mine. Original post. I'm 44, male. My spouse, Megan, 42, confronted me in our kitchen 2 weeks back. The one I'd personally refinished and spelled everything out. No remorse, no regret, just a detached announcement. "I'm unhappy, Jeremy, and I have been for ages." Understandable, but a warning before shattering our 15-year union would have been courteous. Then the bombshell. "And yes, there's another man. It's been happening for some time." I simply acknowledged it. Internally, a void threatened to engulf my chest. Externally, stone-faced. Decades of handling business emergencies had trained me well. She grinned triumphantly. That smirk ignited something. The sheer overconfidence. "You'll never uncover it. Keith is extremely cautious. And even if you did, tough luck. I'll secure the house. The kids will remain with me, of course, and you'll foot the bill. For everything. You'll end up with zilch." She straightened up as if she'd practiced the speech, challenging me. "You believe I haven't consulted an attorney? I understand my entitlements," she continued, her tone laced with disdain. "You're too gentle, Jeremy. Always were." I just gazed at her, truly examined her. The lady I'd adored, parent to Alice, 12, and Harold, 8. And I experienced surprisingly minimal emotion. Let down and an abrupt, frosty lucidity. "All right, Megan," I replied. "Only that." "All right." Her grin wavered. She anticipated shouting, sobbing, pleading. She received nothing. The last fortnight, a transition. She's still residing here in the spare bedroom, her decision, strutting around as if victory is hers, assuring the children that mom and dad are simply sorting matters, but you'll primarily be with me. Subtle jabs. She presented me with separation documents yesterday. Her counsel, Ms. Judith, a true aggressor, forwarded an absurd catalog of claims. Sole guardianship, the residence, the vehicle I financed, crushing maintenance payments. Nearly laughable. Megan assumes she possesses every advantage. Believes I'm the identical man she's dominated for years. She's mistaken. This morning, I dispatched a package by messenger, labeled for Megan, stamped private and sensitive to be accessed by recipient solely. Arrived roughly an hour ago. My phone stayed silent, but I wager her legal teams will ring shortly. My children are my universe. She confused my tolerance for frailty, my devotion to them for a vulnerability to exploit. We'll discover who's truly left empty-handed. Update 1. Well, 7 days have passed. And quite the 7 days. The package. Struck home. For 6 hours post-delivery, silence. Nothing. Megan was absent upon arrival, returned, spotted it on the kitchen counter, observed her retrieve it from the family room. Identical self-satisfied expression. She likely assumed it was me, surrendering. How incorrect she was. She carried it to the spare room. 60 minutes later, an odd sound. Not a yell, a stifled inhale. Then quiet. Profound. Disturbing quiet. That night, she emerged. Ashen. Eyes enlarged. No triumph. No dialogue with me. Straight to the liquor, then back to seclusion. Excellent. The following dawn. My attorney, Mr. Carl, reliable as ever, tenacious when required, received the initial contact. Not from Megan. From Ms. Judith. Mr. Carl noted Judith seemed rattled. A sharp shift from her prior combative manner. Ms. Judith indicated perhaps a misinterpretation regarding the opening demands. Mr. Carl shared. A subtle grin audible. She recommended a session for a more cooperative method. No doubt. Megan, in the meantime, a mess. Not repentant. Trapped beast. Self-importance persisted, mixed with fear. She attempted conversation with me a couple days back. Blocked me in the kitchen. "Jeremy, what was inside that package?" she murmured. Gaze shifting. "You informed me, Megan. You unsealed it. This is madness. You can't utilize that. It's a breach of my confidentiality." Tone escalating, that known blaming pitch. "Was it a breach of my confidentiality, Megan? When you were with Keith in our shared bed? Or when you diverted funds intended for our household, genuine joint money, on that wellness getaway that was really a 7-day stay in a luxury inn with him?" Oh, the investigator I engaged was meticulous. Every dollar well spent. Her complexion drained. "You monitored me?" "I collected evidence, Megan. Evidence you were so sure I'd never locate." "You'll still fail," she snarled. Ms. Judith claims this alters nothing on guardianship or the residence. God bless her. Underhanded tactics commenced as predicted. Informed Alice I was attempting to evict Mommy and strip her of funds. Alice approached me in tears. Difficult discussion. Gathered her and Harold. Explained in kid-friendly terms that adult issues are complex. Daddy would ensure they'd always be provided for. Adored them beyond measure. Megan attempted to interject, charging me with brainwashing them. The nerve. She phoned my sibling, weeping, alleging I transformed into a tyrant, fixated on ruining her. My sibling recognizes Megan's theatrics. Contacted me, shared the concise, raw truth. Team Jeremy. Yesterday, Megan disconnected the internet, altered the code, concealed the modem's cable. If I complicated things, she'd retaliate. Immature, petty. Switched to my mobile data. Purchased a replacement cable. Delivered today. My quietude is unraveling her more than any argument. Ms. Judith demanded a pressing resolution meeting. Mr. Carl consented. Restated our stance. Equal parenting time, residence liquidated, funds divided post-adjusting for joint resources she misappropriated, and zero partner maintenance considering her behavior and income potential. Solid employment. Just like expending my earnings. Mr. Carl mentioned Judith dismissed the no-maintenance idea. Force of habit. Package contents. Comprehensive detective dossier. Schedules, moments, venues. Romantic meal invoices. Lodging reservations. Subtle snapshots of her and Keith. A shady investment type. Appearing overly intimate. All charged to her individual card. But the detective verified the funds originated from her paycheck during our union, rendering the expenditures joint property she was wasting. Duplicates of messages to Keith via her professional email. Advice. Avoid corporate systems for infidelity. In them, she outlined how she'd fleeced Jeremy, how he was too dim, and how she'd ensure the children blamed him for the fallout. Crowning touch. Brief sound recording. A pal of mine, Andrea, who'd observed Megan's growing scorn toward me for months, dined with her about 4 weeks prior. Megan, following a pair of white wines, became chatty. Andrea, already worried and detecting Megan was on the verge of confessing, quietly activated record on her device when Megan began discussing her departure blueprint, how she'd feign emotion for the court, portray Jeremy as coldly aloof, and how Keith found her ruthless tactics appealing. Yeah, that package. Her counsel's outreach to mine shifted from panic to defeated. But Megan, rotating through rejection, fury, pitiful coercion. Far from finished. Not even close. But the overconfidence has vanished. That, temporarily, suffices. Update 2. Several weeks have elapsed. Matters intensified. Then subsided. Nearly dizzying. The resolution session. Judith and Megan opposite. Myself and Mr. Carl adjacent. Megan initiated with theatrics. Wails about her existence destroyed. Me being spiteful. Ms. Judith, supportive pat on her shoulder, glared at me like scum. Mr. Carl calmly pushed a document forward. Concise list of the package's proof. Courteous memo. Ready to submit this during disclosure and, if needed, in court. A magistrate, especially a family assessor, would deem it extremely pertinent. Performance halted. Abruptly. Megan gawked, features collapsing. Judith scanned, face hardening. This is a flagrant infringement of seclusion. Judith protested. Conviction absent. Will seek exclusions. Unacceptable. Mr. Carl grinned faintly. Proceed. The detective's materials were acquired legally. Regarding the messages, they resided on corporate servers. When we demanded her workplace for monetary documents, their counsel, in fulfillment of the demand tied to possible asset waste, discovered her widespread abuse of firm assets for the liaison and schemes. They supplied them within their official reply, referencing policy on misuse. And the audio, your client was in a public venue bragging to another. No valid privacy claim. We're assured it endures. Silence thick. Megan appeared ill. Judith contended the funds Megan expended on Keith were amicable presents. Individual costs. Mr. Carl. Multiple thousands on undisclosed presents and excursions with her paramour while feigning poverty for maintenance. Waste of joint resources is the phrase a court would apply. The self-righteousness like an unending monster. Megan, after Judith deemed their claims toxic, attempted a fresh tactic with me afterward, trapped me while kids were away. Jeremy, please. Tone quivering. Solid performance. Consider Alice and Harold. If this turns messy, they'll be crushed. Can't we consent to my conditions for their benefit? You don't wish them harmed. Weaponizing my children. Shields for her avarice. Any residual sympathy evaporated. The sole one escalating is you, Megan, I stated softly. My conditions are equitable. Safeguard the children. Safeguard what's duly theirs and mine. Your conditions aimed to annihilate me. Bargaining on your delusions ends now. She stomped. You're heartless. You always were. I'll inform all of your actions. I'll convince the kids you're a vengeful tyrant. Proceed, I replied, departing. They're perceptive. They observe more than you realize. Subsequent sabotage. Attempted my arrest. Phoned authorities one night, alleging I'd menaced her. She feared harm. Officers arrived. I steadily clarified, displayed the separation docs, referenced my counsel. Megan's award-caliber act flopped. The police discerned the falsehood, cautioned her on bogus claims, and departed. She secluded in the spare room for 24 hours. Then the defamation drive. Messages to shared acquaintances, ambiguous social media entries on enduring narcissistic torment, stunning hypocrisy. Genuine allies saw the ruse. Certain gossips devoured it. Hurt, admittedly. Reputation slandered by the individual I constructed an existence with. But glancing at Mr. Carl's folder eased the pain. Major repercussion for her? Ms. Judith pressing Megan intensely to compromise. On conditions nearly mirroring my initial offer, the audio of her plotting falsehoods and slandering me for parenting time was the decisive blow to Judith's bold strategy. Deceiving the bench is forbidden. If that audio surfaced, Megan risked sanctions. Judith standing? Tarnished. Recent proposal from them. Megan consents. Residence liquidated. Equal division of true joint resources, subtracting the $15K she lavished on Keith. Precisely tallied. Clinging fiercely to partner maintenance, but Judith faltering, proposing minimal transitional alimony. We're steadfast. None. She's capable of work, orchestrated this chaos. Parenting time remains the core dispute, dreading not securing main control. Her recorded scheme to estrange and deceive undermined her. Mr. Carl optimistic. Balanced equal joint decision-making and residence. Perhaps a family mediator. She's no longer triumphant. Cynic. Hostile. Convinced she's wronged. That I deceived her by not being gullible. Her attorney's outreach isn't desperate anymore. Merely attempting to rescue from her client's catastrophe. Exhausting. No deception. Certain days crushing burden. But Harold cracks a silly pun or Alice seeks assignment aid and I recall the purpose. Not vengeance. Justice. Equity. For my children to witness deeds bear outcomes. Their dad refuses intimidation. Final update. It's concluded. Separation official last week. The prior months dragged. Arbitration. Farce. Megan. Icy muteness or weepy. Hostile charges. Ms. Judith appeared eager to escape. Ultimately, we avoided full litigation on key points. The potency of the package's proof, especially the audio and messages, vastly hastened proceedings, compelling Judith's retreat much earlier than expected. Ultimate terms. Residence sold. Post-loan, subtracting Megan's $15K Keith expenditure. Mr. Carl secured that. Proceeds divided equally. I applied my portion toward a condo purchase. Megan, post-charges and securing a rental. Not the mansion she imagined. Isn't enjoying the luxury she schemed with Keith. Oh, Keith? Vanished when her fiscal outlook dimmed. Predictable. Parenting time. Fiercest battle. She shrieked upon equal joint decision-making and residence being locked in. No main parent. Proof of intended estrangement and deceit too compelling. Defined timetable. Mandated platform for exchanges. Magistrate issued her a firm admonition on parental behavior. Children adapting. Challenging yet tough. Interact with both consistently. Harold inquired why mom was upset. Explained adults occasionally struggle, but we both cherish him and Alice. Partner maintenance. None. Her job prospects solid. Her actions pivotal. Ms. Judith scarcely contested this late. Remaining properties. Vehicles, reserves, remnants. Pension funds, routine divisions after the $15K adjustment. Megan is displeased. Massive understatement. Enraged. Resentful. Can't grasp her flawless scheme. Exploded. Persists as the injured party in her view. She inked the documents with sheer malice toward me. No regret, or introspection. Privileged individuals seldom awaken. Spotted her at Alice's school production last week. Snubbed me, then boisterously informed another guardian how she was at last liberated from a domineering union. Audibly for my ears. I merely smirked softly, centered on Alice, stellar as a speaking shrub. The gratification isn't her suffering, though a dark corner admits the fairness. True gratification. Serenity. Realizing I defended myself and my children. Her hubris and deception failed. Exposure. Indeed. Solitude. Concern for the kids. Fatigue. Moments I craved yielding everything to end it. But Mr. Carl and my sibling anchored me. You don't ignite yourself to warm another, my sibling advised. Profound. I'm not rejoicing. Separation is horrific. Regardless of reasons. End of a vision. Yet not fixating on losses. Emphasizing possessions. Children. Honor. Tomorrow. Home is quieter. Tranquil. Harold and I construct block fortresses. Alice and I prepare treats. Minor joys yet monumental. She deemed me weak. Deemed I'd collapse. Deemed she could strip me bare. Incorrect. The package concerned reality. And reality, proverbially, liberates. For Megan, it entailed confronting the earned fallout of her choices. Frankly, superior to retribution. Appreciate the space to unload. Reddit. Quite the odyssey. Farewell.